What's going on, guys? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Manix 2 XL. This is a knife that I acquired, I don't know how many, couple months ago. Haven't just been able to sit down with this knife. Really haven't used it, really haven't carried it. I got it for cheap, so I just decided to get it. I've never owned a Manix 2 or an XL. And so, yeah, I mean, when it came in, I was like, I was excited to do a review, but then it's just been sitting in my knife case, not even my knife case, like a box, and really haven't put it to use. This is highly used from the previous owner. That's why it's, why I got it for cheap. You can see they sharpened the huge bevel on here as well. And just based on the collection that I have, it's just one that I wouldn't use. And the Manix has always just been one of those knives that I've never liked. I don't even know why I bought it. Eventually I'm probably going to sell it or I'm going to give it away. But anyway, I'm going to try to do a fair review on it. I tried to do a fair review on the Benchmade 940 a long time ago, and a lot of people hated on it because I just didn't like it. There are just some knives that you get that, you just don't like, that other people love, and that's totally fine. So for what it's worth, I'm going to try to give a unbiased review, impressions on it, and then finish the video by saying that I don't like this knife. But that aside, let's get into some of the specs on this knife. You got a just over 5-ounce knife, 3.8 inch, so just under 4-inch blade, a leaf-shaped blade, which is very typical of Spyderco, especially some of their older stuff and whatnot. Got a double choil here, which makes choking up on the knife pretty comfortable. G10 scales, stainless steel liners, these little pillar standoffs, large lanyard lanyard tube, skeletonized liners inside. You can see right there in the light. So that's what helps to lighten up this knife. Really thick steel housing right here, which houses the locking mechanism for this knife, which is a ball bearing knife. So essentially it's operates like a Benchmade axis lock, but in terms of the function, it's quite different. So you're talking about compressing on a ball bearing, which is very strong. So it's almost impossible to like bend or dent that ball bearing. Versus compression of these thinner liners, so you got the pressure of this blade tang on the bottom right here pushing up against the axis lock, and then pushing against the liner. So if there's any kind of downward pressure on this knife, it's going to be putting all this pressure on these thinner steel liners. So it's still going to be really strong. So essentially, kind of like compression lock as well. All that pressure is getting pushed on that thin compressed liner, if you will. So size comparison, against the Benchmade 810 Contigo, against the Yojimbo 2 from Spyderco, and then Paramilitary 2 right here, and the Sebenza 25. The original Manix has 154 cm blade. It's got a 3/4 grind blade as well. Short, obviously, it's going to be a shorter knife. I don't know if it's like a 3.5 inch blade or whatnot. The Manix XL, with the longer blade, the main thing about this is that it features S30V versus 154 cm blade steel on the regular Manix. So that definitely makes the Manix 2, I think, for me, in my opinion, the better option, because it's so cheap as well. On Blade HQ or Amazon, right now it's selling for $105, and so you're getting pretty good materials for that price, to be sure. Blade thickness is no thicker than a Sebenza 2 though, so you're getting a large, thin, wide blade, at 125. So I mean, it's the same thickness as Emerson, as a Sebenza, but the tip is, I want to say the Sebenza is a little bit more stout, like throughout, but Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, if you're using this as a slicer or as a utility knife, I'm sure it's fine. Breaking down boxes is going to be more than adequate for sure. So yeah, honestly, guys, that's pretty much it. The only reason I don't like this knife is primarily the aesthetics, and then the jimping all over this knife I think just makes it a very uncomfortable knife compared to the rest of these. So I mean, ergonomics, if it didn't have those issues, I think would be pretty good. Still aesthetically though, wouldn't be a knife that I would enjoy carrying and using that much. So yeah, so anyway, for $100, you really can't beat the price. So if you like the look of the Manix 2, then it would be a great option, you know, for you. If you're moving up from, say, a Tenacious or, yeah, like a Kershaw Skyline or something, you want something bigger, this is a good option. To be honest, completely honest, I would say go with a normal standard paramilitary 2 with S30V. That would be a much better option in my opinion. It's much lighter. I think the ergonomics are even better than the Manix. Doesn't have that crazy jimping all over the place. The thumb ramp jimping is perfect. Compression lock is, I think, as good as the ball bearing lock. Maybe not as strong, but still extremely strong. And then in terms of the pocket as well, you can just see how much easier it would fit in the pocket compared to the Manix 2. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are some of my thoughts on the Spyderco Manix 2 XL version. Good option at that price point, but just not for me. So I'll just leave it at that. So guys, leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Take care. Bye.